Here's something that might shock you. Austin, one of America's fastest-growing cities, has been operating without a unified brand for over a century. And that chaotic approach has been confusing residents and fragmenting city services in ways you probably never realized. After decades of operating with a patchwork identity that includes more than 300 different logos across various departments, Austin is finally taking a bold step that some might call long overdue, while others might question whether it's worth the investment. The city is launching its very first comprehensive brand initiative, and the timing couldn't be more critical as Austin continues its explosive growth. But here's where it gets controversial. This isn't just about pretty logos and matching colors. This is about fundamentally changing how Austin's government presents itself to nearly 1 million residents who often struggle to understand which services come from where. The problem nobody talks about. Let's be honest about something most people don't realize. Austin's current official seal was created back in 1916 by a San Francisco illustrator for a flag design contest. Think about that for a moment. We're using a design that's over 100 years old, created by someone who wasn't even from Austin, to represent a modern, tech-savvy city that's nothing like what it was a century ago. City Manager T.C. Broadnax puts it bluntly. Residents should be able to instantly recognize city employees and trust the services they provide, whether they encounter the brand on a website, a utility bill, a street sign, or the side of a vehicle. But until now, that simple expectation has been nearly impossible to meet. The fragmentation runs deeper than most people understand. With hundreds of different logos scattered across departments and programs, Austin residents have been navigating a confusing maze of visual identities that make it genuinely difficult to understand what services the city actually provides. It's like trying to shop at a department store where every section uses completely different signage and branding. Frustrating and inefficient. The community demanded change. Here's what makes this initiative particularly interesting. It wasn't driven by bureaucrats sitting in offices. The push for a unified brand came directly from community feedback, gathered through extensive surveys and focus groups involving representatives from nearly 24 civic organizations. The message from residents was clear and somewhat surprising. While they appreciate their interactions with city staff, they want a modern government that actually reflects community values and operates with consistency across all departments and services. In other words, people are tired of feeling like they're dealing with dozens of separate entities when they should be interacting with one cohesive city government. The Austin City Council recognized this need back in 2018, making the development of a cohesive brand a strategic priority. Now, after years of development, the new brand will officially debut on October 1st, starting with digital assets like the city website, department pages, social media profiles, and newsletters. The gradual rollout strategy and why it matters. But here's the part most people miss. This isn't going to be an expensive overnight transformation that drains the city budget. Austin is taking a smart, phased approach that prioritizes fiscal responsibility while still achieving the unified vision. Newly produced materials and digital properties will immediately display the new Austin brand beginning October 1st. However, physical items like uniforms, facility signage, and vehicles will transition gradually based on department schedules, updating or replacing items only when they reach the end of their natural service life. There's one notable exception that might spark some debate. Uniforms for Austin Police, Austin Fire, and Austin Travis County Emergency Medical Services will remain unchanged. The reasoning? Public safety responders need to be instantly recognizable and trusted by the community they serve. Some might argue this creates an inconsistency in the unified approach, while others will see it as a practical necessity. The creative process behind the brand, Austin didn't go it alone on this project. The city contracted with two companies that bring very different strengths to the table. TKO, a local Austin agency specializing in brand storytelling, and Pentagram, an internationally renowned design firm with an Austin office led by partner DJ Stout, who spearheaded the visual brand design. This partnership between local insight and global expertise raises an interesting question. Was it necessary to bring in outside help for something as personal as a city's identity? Or does this combination ensure the best of both worlds? More than just visual appeal, Chief Communications Director Jessica King emphasizes that this initiative goes far beyond surface-level aesthetics. The logo itself was thoughtfully designed to reflect Austin's natural landscape, the hills, rivers, and bridges that literally and figuratively connect the community. The color palette draws inspiration from the city's distinctive violet crown skies and the lush green canopies of Austin's beloved parks and trails. But King makes a crucial point that some critics might overlook. This cohesive brand is more than a logo. It's a reflection of who Austin's local government is and how it is represented. We are one Austin, and it is important that we present ourselves in a unified way. The movement suggested in the logo design wasn't chosen randomly either. It's meant to represent how welcoming, flexible, and resilient both the community and city employees are, qualities that will be increasingly important as Austin continues to attract new residents and businesses. The bigger picture, strategic modernization. This brand program represents what city officials call strategic modernization rather than just a visual update. As Austin's population continues its rapid expansion, residents need to clearly understand what services and resources their city government provides. The unified brand aims to achieve this through 3 key improvements. First, clear and consistent communications that make it significantly easier for residents to recognize and trust city services across all touchpoints. Second, enhanced collaboration that encourages departments to work together more effectively, potentially leading to more innovative solutions and better service delivery. Third, a renewed commitment to transparency and accountability that should strengthen public confidence in how tax dollars are being managed. But here's where opinions might diverge. Is a branding initiative really the best way to achieve these goals? Or should the city focus resources directly on service improvements instead? The questions nobody's asking. While this brand initiative addresses real problems that residents have identified, it also raises some thought-provoking questions that deserve discussion. Is visual consistency really going to improve actual government performance? Or is this an expensive exercise in marketing? Will residents actually feel more connected to city services because of a unified logo? Or do they care more about responsiveness and efficiency? And here's perhaps the most controversial question. In a city struggling with affordability, housing, and transportation challenges, is now the right time to invest in brand development, even if it's being implemented cost-effectively? What do you think? Is Austin's brand initiative a smart investment in improved government communication and service delivery, or is it a case of style over substance? Have you ever been confused by the city's fragmented visual identity? Or do you think residents care more about results than recognition? Share your thoughts. This is exactly the kind of local government decision that affects everyone differently.